Hello and welcome back to the Red vs Red podcast. We've just been talking all things Manchester United versus Liverpool. Thankfully, that conversation is over now. We're going to move on to something else. So here we go. For or against. I think I'm for this week. Is that right?
I believe so.
Right, let's go with it. So yeah, I'm for this week. We've got three irking statements or questions or conversation starters. I'm going to explain why that's a for. Sporadically is going to explain why he's against. And you can have two conflicting opinions to forge your own position and your own opinion out of it as well. So without any further ado, let's see what our first question is for today. And that is, Ugarte makes the difference. So we're talking about Liverpool. We've just seen Casemiro have a really bad day. If we started Ugarte instead of Casemiro, would we have had a different result? So lots to go through. I think you're against today sporadically. So if you want to start us off with why you think that's not true and that we would have lost no matter if Ugarte started or not, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a definite upgrade in terms of what we have in midfield. However, he's not attuned to the exact style of play. PSG plays a different style, a much more heavily possession-based game, I think, than we do at Manchester United. Obviously, we do want to try and build out of the back, but there were more than just the Casemiro mistakes today that led to goals. Obviously, we got scored on even while he was outside of the 11 that we had on the pitch, and so. I don't think that Toby Collier was necessarily a huge instigator in terms of the third goal. So we just have some things that we have to really flesh out in terms of our ability to play out of the back and maintain structure that is, not only going to be good going forward, but that doesn't expose us on defense whenever we do lose the ball and other teams are quickly transitioning into defense. Yes, he's probably going to play a little bit more deep than, what we're used to seeing. I know that Casemiro still does tend to get forward a little bit, and he tries to, play balls over the top, this and that. And while Ugarte is probably going to be an immediate upgrade, I don't think that changes the ultimate scoreline today. I was hoping that, a lot of the lads were going to respond well today. But it kind of went to show that, just a little bit of adversity. The first goal, I think we were still kind of up for it. The second goal, the heads went down. And so, yes, you can chalk, I would say both of those up to Casemiro. But just because you change one person doesn't mean that Liverpool is not going to continue to get opportunities and take those opportunities. They're a fairly clinical team. They're only one of two teams that has gone, perfect 3 for 3 this season, and so, it's tough. I really hate to say it, but just making that one change isn't going to make a difference. I think we needed changes around the pitch to really be able to say, okay, this is the team that was going to beat Liverpool today. I advocated for us at the beginning of, before the game. I thought that we were going to win this game. I thought we were going to have a really good response after the Brighton game. It did not happen. I thought that we came out really well for the first 15, 20 minutes or so. But honestly, even just after having that offsides goal, that kind of shook us a little bit. And so I'd like to see a little bit more of mental resilience from the rest of our team to really say, yeah, if Ugarte comes in, then he's going to make a difference. But so much of the onus should be put on the other players around in the team that are going to be playing regular team first team football to have that mental wherewithal to really make the difference and not just crumple once you see a little bit of adversity.
Yeah, I mean, a strong argument there, buddy. And yeah, I think you're right. There were so many things. Obviously, I'm going to be arguing for the 4 now, where Ugarte would make the difference. But I do agree that there were too many things wrong today to try and get us the result. However, you pick one of those things that were wrong, as in Casemiro, and you replace it with a destroyer like Ugarte. We're not going to have any of those new mistakes might have happened, but the ones that did happen with Casemiro wouldn't have happened with Ugarte. And who knows, we might have been able to... Those 2 goals in the first half were highly preventable. And if we had someone like Ugarte in there, not only would those goals have been prevented, because he wouldn't have given the ball away like that, but we might have been able to take one of our chances up the other end of the pitch as well. So instead of Casemiro being on the pitch, we could have had Ugarte starting. We could be like 0-0 or 1-0 up or something at half time, and it would have been a completely different game. Casemiro threw us the game today. It's his fault that we were 2-0 down at half time, and whether you're at Anfield or Old Trafford, that's a really hard task to come back from that at the start of the season. When it's towards the end of the season, like the FA Cups, for example, everyone's kind of up for it and you can just give it hell for leather. People are still trying to get up to speed at the moment and try and get up the pace, but yeah, Casemiro was just disastrous today. His body language is awful. It's like he doesn't care. He's not even looking where he's passing the ball. He doesn't run either anymore. I mean, I can't see how Ugarte wouldn't have made the difference. Where Casemiro, yes, we had 10 other issues on the pitch, but Casemiro was the catalyst of everything that was wrong with us today. And I say, you take him out and you put Ugarte in, it's a different game altogether. So there we go. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with that one. Let us know what you guys think. Are you for or against Ugarte coming in? But I think I kind of have to agree with you on this time. As much as I agree that Ugarte coming in for Casemiro would have made the difference, the overwhelming feeling is that there was just too many things wrong today to make that happen.
Everything that we talk about Ugarte is him coming in as a destroyer, a defensive midfielder that is going to make interceptions and make tackles. Neither of those mistakes were from making tackles or not intercepting the ball or poor positioning. It was going forward, and I don't know what Ugarte is going to bring for us going forward just yet.
I do.
Hopefully it's going to be a bit better.
So basically, Casemiro looks too far forward. Ugarte looks 6 meters in front of him. So he'll see Kobbie Mainoo.
That was
Bruno
the issue
Fernandes.
today, though.
No,
that was the exact issue today.
No, because Casemiro wasn't completing that. He wasn't successful. He was trying that ball to Kobbie Mainoo 40 yards away when it wasn't even on. Whereas Ugarte would look a lot closer to him. See who's around him, shorter passing, a little bit of a tick-attacker in the midfield,
There wasn't a whole lot of options there for whenever he tried to play the ball to Mainoo. I think that Bruno Fernandes was still pretty well covered. I think that he needed to go further forward, and Casemiro, who we have seen throughout the preseason and the early days, is kind of like his best qualities have been playing those balls in over the top, and he didn't do that. So if you want to talk about looking within 6 meters, if you look within 6 meters, you're pressed for options there.
But Ugarte can run, whereas Casemiro can't run with the ball.
Well, and Casemiro also got easily thrown off, thrown to the ground, basically.
Right.
I always, and whenever I think of Casemiro, I think of strong, powerful, decision-making abilities.
Not
and
anymore.
We don't have that in the Casemiro that we see today. So it's unfortunate, but it needs to go.
We started talking about Ugarte, we ended up talking about Casemiro yet again. That's just the way that things go for or against.
That was today. That was just the whole...
I was actually with Sporadicles to go on against, but then he started fighting back. So now I'm like, let's go for it. So again, I think we should leave this as a white. Let us know down below what you guys think. Would Ugarte make the difference in your opinion or not? And let's kind of move on to the next one, because we are super overburdened today with time. We're already like half an hour, but hey, it is what it is. So we'll leave that one as white, as I said. Our second question is, Maguire will be defender of the season. So obviously I'm going for the 4, so I'm going to try and back this up and try and bring out all of my cosmic knowledge of defending to try and make this happen. So look, Maguire came on the pitch today and he was a better striker than Marcus Rashford. He held up the ball, he was looking threatening, and he was looking dangerous, right? When he came on the pitch, he was more or less of a third striker, right? And he was more impactful today. He was. You tell me that he did more positive things in the attacking box than what Rashford did for 2.5 games.
He did.
Right? He did. Okay, so that's a foundation of what we're building from this discussion right here, okay? And then, so look, he came on and he did a job. He always does a job. Sometimes he fails. Sometimes he succeeds. But he always gives 110% effort, right?
A bad job is still a job.
It is. It's better than not turning up like Casemiro, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, this is my 4 section. Give me a break. So, right? So look, he came on the pitch and he was positive from the off. He's a leader. He's not a captain. He's a leader, right? And he leads by example. We need more people like that. Now, look, Martinez being fit again is absolutely amazing. De Ligt being fit, being in the team is absolutely amazing. We have 2 warriors in defence for De Ligt and Martinez, 100%. But man, Maguire's gone through so much as captain as Manchester United, gone through so much as England. He will still keep chugging along. He's the train that never stops. He's just always chugging along. And he's going to have some fantastic moments for us this season. And whether him being attacking corners or being that third striker or coming in as a super sub defender, he's going to give us some solid performances. And I think you go from the start of the season to the end of the season, you sum up all of those moments. He may well have a better defensive season than either Martinez or De Ligt. I can't see anyone else being a better defender than Martinez or De Ligt, other than Harry Maguire. It's going to be one of those 3. But I think, I think injuries and everything are going to come to count of it as well. It's feasible. It's possible that Maguire could have a swan song season and turn out to be our best defender at the club come June or May. So yeah, it's not unheard of. He's had some bad patches, but mate, he is solid. He never gives up. Always tries. Always holds himself accountable. He never shies away from a challenge or anything like that or criticism. So yeah, but again, that comes with experience, and I don't think Martinez and De Ligt quite have that experience. They could learn a lot off Maguire this season still. I think he's got a lot to give, as long as the limelight isn't on him. I think he still has a chance to be having an outstanding season for us. That's where I'm at.
If you guys can't tell, I came up with this question because of the last outing that we had where Saf almost had the clean sweep. So I was feeling a little salty, and I came up with this one, and I think this one should be a shoe-in for me. So here we go.
All right.
I don't think that Maguire is going to be defender of the season. I think. You want to talk about the reason he's going to be that is because he's going to, have all these goals. He's not had those goals. He's not had a lot of goals for us in the last, few seasons. Has he been the most available? Yes. Has he made the most profile mistakes out of all of the defenders that we've had in the last few seasons? Also, yes. We saw that just last week against Brighton, where he should have been clearing the ball, whether it be out for a corner or whatever it may be. For their first goal, that should have been a Harry Maguire thing. And you want to talk about, Lisandro Martinez, he should have done this, he should have done that. Well, Lisandro Martinez having to be involved in that is predicated on the fact that Harry Maguire did not do his job in that moment as a defender. And that has been a recurring theme over the past few seasons of him just not just letting balls go past his feet, letting balls go through the air. We call him slab head for a reason. He's got a big, huge head, and he should be winning all these aerial battles. And he just doesn't really do that for us on as consistent a basis as we need. And, again, if you want to talk about slab head, he should be getting in on those corners and scoring goals for us off of corner kicks, which he's not doing, which he's not done. We have been atrocious from those corner kicks and set pieces where he should be making an impact. It's just not there for me. And so whenever you have a wealth of talent in terms of, De Ligt and Martinez and Lenny Yoro, you didn't even talk about Lenny Yoro, who's currently out on injury. He's going to be another huge player. I mean, if you want to talk about, the rotation and who's going to be playing at center back, I think there's only two other center backs that are lower on the totem pole than Harry Maguire, and that's Victor Lindelof and Johnny Evans. And, I will say that with my full chest. I think that he is one of our least rated center backs, aside from those two. I think that we've been trying to offload Lindelof for multiple seasons or multiple transfer windows. He should have been offloaded by now, but go figure, he had an injury leading into deadline day. And aside from Manchester United, nobody wants to acquire injured players in a transfer window. We've done that basically twice now. Well, at least once now, with Hoyland last year. And so, I think that there's going to be too much competition for him to play a full enough part to even think about being defensive player of the season.
Fair enough. Two very strong arguments there. I think it's going to be tough to try and sway either or. I mean, we need your guys' input. It's basically, we want you guys to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner in terms of making all this happen. So maybe we'll leave this one white as well, because I actually like sporadically. So I'd like to keep this friendship if possible. So yeah,
I think I take this one.
So
personally, I think that there's not. I think that I take this one.
I tell you, I will let you take this one. But if the event that Maguire actually ends up being defender of the season for Manchester United, you're going to have to do a forfeit of some kind.
A forfeit of what kind?
Oh, well, we've got 9 months to decide and figure that out. So, but I would say we'll come back to this.
I'll do the hot challenge instead of you. So
hey. So, I'll let you have this one, but we'll come back to it at the end of the season, all right? And we'll see what's what. All right, so against, there we go. Boom. Have I got that done? There we go. So we're against on that one. Fair play. All right, so next question. Again, let us know your thoughts down below. Third and final question, all for or against, is United will still make Europe by the end of the season. So I'm for, so let me back this one up for you guys. Look, I think we're going to do well in Europe. And I think we're going to do well. Like we've got a favourable draw in the Europa League. I mean, Rangers, it's going to be tough. Anyone can beat us. We know this. But I think that with the squad that we've got, the strengthening that we're going to make in January, I think Europe is going to be a very big thing for us this season in terms of the Europa League. Will we get as far in the FA Cup as what I thought we'd get this season? I don't know. I think the FA Cup is down. It's a knockout cup competition. You never know who's going to go on a run or not. We had some magic last season. But I think we've got some magic left in Europe. Europe has been... this is the first time that we've been in Europe under Ineos, technically. So they want to put the right foot forward, and they want those results. And I don't think that we're going to finish in the top 4 this season. So if we're going to want to get into the Champions League for next season, we have to win the Europa League. So that's where I think most of our eggs are going to be in the basket for this season. And I believe we have a chance of winning the Europa League. Especially if we have a good second half of the season, maybe 1 or 2 more signings, get rid of Onana and Casemiro, you never know, might have a strong end of the season. But yeah, I think we're going to have a strong run in Europe. And I think we're pretty much a 50-50 in terms of winning. I think we're going to get to the final. Will we win the final? I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm very positive that we're going to do well in Europe. I think we're going to focus on Europe rather than the league. Obviously, we want to do better than 8th. So I think we're going to see improvements, but yeah, I think Europe is going to be a big thing for us this season. Ten Hag wants another trophy. He wants 3 trophies out of 3 seasons. I think Europa League is probably the best bet for him to get another named trophy in the cabinet and make things happen. So yeah, very positive. Today sucks, obviously against Liverpool. But yeah, I think against Europe, we should do really well. We've got some amazing players that can do really cool things in Europe, but we'll see. But yeah, I think we'll definitely be in the Champions League next season for sure. If we win the Europa League, I think we're going to win the Europa League this season. But yeah, go on, sporadically. Off you go.
That's the whole crux of the 4 argument, is that we're going to have to win Europa League. Whenever I was seeing how the transfer window was playing out, I was thinking, top 3. Today does not give me any confidence towards that. I think that if you're so reliant on, one or two personnel changes to be able to win your matches week in, week out, you're probably not going to be winning in the league on a regular basis. I think that Casemiro is going to get exposed by, basically any team that he's playing against because he just hasn't shown me otherwise. And we can't play Ugarte every single week in, week out. That's just not going to happen. So, I mean, you've already got Manchester City and Arsenal. They're going to be duking it out for top spot again, I think. Liverpool, obviously the only other team aside from Manchester City, that has gone 3 for 3 at the start of the season, and I hate that. Mind you, I am still, in fact, a Manchester United fan. I want to be for this, but seeing as we do have to put all of our eggs into the Europa League basket, we haven't won Europa League since Jose Mourinho was in charge. So it's been a while. We've been in there multiple times. We've been in the Champions League, and we've been knocked out of the Champions League in each and every group stage. We've been knocked out in the Europa League in each and every first round of the knockout stages. So if you want to put all of your eggs in that basket, I have no history with which to go on that's going to tell me that, yeah, we're probably going to win that. We lose to Spanish opposition year in, year out in terms of the knockout stages. It's just going to be hard. I mean, we have all these players that we're just now starting to incorporate into our first team. We've got two new defenders. We have a new midfielder that we're going to be doing that with. We've got another striker that we're going to be hoping to integrate. So you have all these things. Like, these are first team players. For the most part, you want to have one, maybe two players that you're trying to bring into your first team. We're trying to incorporate basically half of our roster is going to be new. And that's who we're hoping is going to perform week in, week out, and under a system they may or may not know. Yes, they have, a lot of them have prior familiarity with each other from playing at Ajax. Figure, buying Ajax players like nobody's business. How well has that worked for us up until now? Anthony has not been great. Christian Eriksen has been here and there. He's not going to be a starter, and so you can't even rely on that relationship. And so I'm just struggling to see where we come out ahead in terms of all of these teams that are so much more established with who their first team is going to be and how they're going to rotate and where their depth is. We don't have a whole lot of depth in a lot of these places. Like, again, after Ugarte, you have Casemiro to be Kobe Mainoo's partner. There is no substitute for Kobe Mainoo at this point, I don't think. And you can't play him all season. So what's that relationship going to look like? Who's going to fill in there? We don't have an outright left back that's going to be healthy all season. So all of these things coming together, it just looks like we're going to have another season of struggle. Knock on wood, hopefully we can still have ETH at the end of it because, we're still going to be adapting to his style of play, given that we're making all of these different transitions and so many personnel changes. So any season where you have to switch, where you have to go out into the market and acquire 4 first-team players is not going to be a top 4 finish, and it's not going to be a team that can compete for major trophies.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to end on a positive note there. Not that Erik ten Hag would be lucky to stay. Anyway, I think you've heard the for, you've heard it against. Let us know what you think. I think we have to remain positive on this one. And the fact that we've got Spradicles, he's got the second one there, I think we should literally just grab the first one, Greenland, for the name there. But you decide. You let us know in the comments section. Play along yourselves. Let us know if we're right or wrong, and what do you think. Again, ultimately, in the future, we want to making these podcasts live, so be a live back and forth experience and engagement with you guys. But until then, we're going to read every single comment. We're going to answer every phone call, except for that one, and then we'll make it we'll make it happen. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone kind of watching. Anything to kind of finish off with, Spradicles? Anything you want to say before we go?
I hope that we're in Champions League position by the end of this season. I think that we can do it. I dislike having to take the against there. So I will definitely give you the 4. I think that this, the changes that we've made in personnel are going to pay dividends. I think that, slowly throughout time, we're going to find what our best 11 is going to be, because I don't think that we fielded it yet. So I think that there is still a lot to look forward to. This was just one unfortunate result. But we do still have 2 more opportunities to pick up those 3 points that get us to 9 out of our first 5 that I was hoping for. So, fingers crossed.
There we go. Look, we did it. Look, we're still friends after all of those heated debates. I said it would happen. I said no friendship was going to be harmed in making this podcast. Well, we did it. We got it. We were like an half an hour, 36 minutes well over. So we've had some heated debates. It's been more like therapy for us today. Hopefully, it's been a bit like therapy for you guys as well. I hope you put the kettle on and just had this podcast on in the background, just paying attention to what we're saying. I hope our venting has kind of cleared up some thoughts and opinions for yourselves, and so you're a little bit clearer minded, and just know that you're not the only one that gets frustrated with Manchester United. So
I think we have at least 3 more hairs to pull before we stop being friends, Saf.
I've got a few more than 3. I think a few more than 3. But I'm not shaving it this time. But yeah, you're right. I mean, look, we're here laughing, we're having a good time, and I hope that you all enjoyed it as well. I've been the Saffron Man. He's been Sporadicles, and I'll be back again on Tuesday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Again, hit like and subscribe. You'll see Sporadicles on his video on Friday with the build-up to our next match. I think it's against Southampton, is what you said, so stay tuned for that. Yep. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.